Namaste, Betiya. Hamisha khush raho, Betiya. A very good morning to you all. Myself, JV and Dr. Ravi Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of Practice of Medicine, and Faculty of Homeopathic Science at Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about another important disease of the neurological system, that is trigeminal neuralgia. In the last lecture, we have discussed about headache, the different type of headache. So I believe you must all have gone through the book and have studied the different type of headache and completed the homework that was assigned to you. Now today, let's start with another important disease, that is trigeminal neuralgia. Trigeminal neuralgia, it is a very important disease producing a lot of pain along the course of the trigeminal nerve. So let's start with the trigeminal neuralgia. Trigeminal neuralgia, it is a chronic pain that is affecting the trigeminal nerve. Trigeminal nerve, as we all know, it carries the sensations from the face to the brain. So we have three divisions of the trigeminal nerve. We have ophthalmic division, maxillary division, and the mandibular division of the trigeminal nerve. I believe you all have studied this particular distribution from the anatomy. If you have not covered it, so I would suggest you to go through the book and read all the 12 cranial nerves. So what is trigeminal neuralgia? Trigeminal neuralgia is a chronic pain condition that is affecting the trigeminal nerve, and it is carrying the sensation from the face to the brain. The trigeminal is basically a fifth cranial nerve, and it supplies the sensation of the skin of the face and anterior half of the head. So trigeminal nerve, it is basically this nerve supply, the sensations from the skin to the brain. Now, there are three divisions of the trigeminal nerve, that is ophthalmic division, maxillary division, and the mandibular division. So we have three divisions of the trigeminal nerve. It is predominantly a sensory nerve, and the motor innervation is exclusively carried out in the mandibular. So trigeminal nerve, it is basically a sensory nerve, and its motor innervation is exclusively carried in the mandibular region. Now, what is the incidence for development of trigeminal neuralgia? So the incidence, it is trigeminal neuralgia, it is a relatively common disease. And the annual incidence for development of trigeminal neuralgia is around 4 to 8 per 1 lakh individuals. It is affecting the middle-aged individuals and elderly peoples. So it is trigeminal neuralgia is relatively common. There is an annual incidence of around 4 to 8 people per 1 lakh population. It is affecting most commonly the middle-aged and the elderly population people. So the incidence is relatively common. The annual incidence is around 4 to 8 per 1 lakh individual. It is affecting more the middle-aged and the elderly people, and it is also common in women. Now, what is the pathogenesis? Pathogenesis, the exact pathophysiology of development of trigeminal neuralgia is not known. So the pathophysiology is not known, but there are various sensory sensitivity that is due to the functioning of monoaminergic sensory control system. So the exact pathophysiology is not known, but there is sensory sensitivity due to the dysfunction of the monoaminergic sensory control system that are located in the brainstem and the hypothalamus. The blood levels of the histamine and serotonin and norepinephrine are increased. So what happens in trigeminal neuralgia? There is sensory sensitivity that is due to the dysfunction of monoaminergic sensory control system that are located on the brainstem and the hypothalamus. The blood level of the histamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine are increased. Now, the onset of trigeminal neuralgia is usually sudden, and it is characterized by severe paroxysmal pain in the lips. So there is severe paroxysmal pain in the lips, in the gums, in the cheeks, and on the chin. So in trigeminal neuralgia, we will have sudden severe paroxysmal pain in the lips, gums, cheeks, and the chin. And it is rarely on the distribution of the ophthalmic division of the fifth cranial nerve. So the onset is usually typical and it is characterized by severe paroxysmal pain in the lips, gums, cheek, and chin, and rarely in the distribution of the ophthalmic division of fifth cranial nerve. The pain lasts a few seconds to few minutes. So the pain is lasting for a few seconds to few minutes, and the pain is so intense that the patient winces, hence the term it is known as tic dolorex. So trigeminal neuralgia is also known as tic dolorex. Why it is known as tic dolorex? Because there is intense severe pain that makes the patient to wince. So there is severe paroxysmal pain that is affecting the lips, the gums, the cheeks, the chin, and rarely the distribution of the ophthalmic division of the fifth cranial nerve. The paroxysm experienced, the paroxysm of pain, these are experienced as a single jab or clusters which recur frequently. So the paroxysm that we are experiencing is experienced as a single jab or the clusters which occur frequently both day and night for several weeks at a time. So the paroxysm of pain, it can be experienced as a single jab or the clusters which recur frequently. So there is paroxysmal pain that is occurring as a single jab or clusters, and these are occurring frequently both day and night for several weeks at a time. Now, the onset of pain is usually sudden. So there is sudden onset of the pain, and the bouts tends to persist for weeks or months before remitting spontaneously. So the pain that it is occurring is usually sudden pain, or it is sudden pain, and the bouts tend to persist for weeks or months before remitting spontaneously. So the pain continues to be there for a longer period of time, and then it remits spontaneously. The pain occurs spontaneously with movement of the affected areas by speaking, chewing, or smiling. So the affected areas, in these affected areas, the pain is coming spontaneously, and with the movement of these affected areas, this is coming by speaking, chewing, and smiling. So by smiling, by chewing, by speaking, the pain is there. There are various trigger zones. Trigger zones on the face, by touching on those trigger zones, it will start the paroxysm of pain. So the trigger zone includes the face, the lips, and the tongue. There is also tactile stimuli. So tactile stimuli means whenever the patient touches that particular part, like washing the face, the brushing the teeth, and exposure to a draft of air, it can also generate excruciating pain. So there are various trigger zones on the face that provokes the attacks on the face, lips, and tongue. There are also various type of tactile stimuli. Tactile stimuli like washing the face, brushing the teeth, and exposure to the draft of air that can generate excruciating pain. There is remissions. The remissions are long lasting, but in most, the disease ultimately occurs. So this is usually a lasting disease, and even after it is cured, the disorder recurs again. So what is happening in the trigeminal neuralgia? There is sudden onset of the pain. The pain is paroxysmal, that is affecting the lips, gums, cheek, and chin, and rarely around the distribution of the ophthalmic division of fifth cranial nerve. The pain lasts for seconds to few minutes, and it is so intense that the patient winces, and hence it is termed as the tic. The paroxysm experienced as a single jab or clusters. So the paroxysm, it is experienced as a single jab or clusters, which recur frequently both day and night for several weeks at a time. Now the onset is typically sudden. So the onset of pain is usually sudden, and the bouts tend to persist for weeks and months before remitting spontaneously. The pain is occurring spontaneously by the movement of the affected areas by speaking, chewing, and smiling. There are also different type of trigger zones that provokes the attack on the face, lips, and tongue. So there is also a tactile stimuli. Tactile stimuli like washing the face, brushing the teeth, and exposure to the draft of air that can generate excruciating pain. There are remissions. The remissions are long lasting, but in most of the cases, the disorder ultimately recurs. Now, what is the pathophysiology? In the pathophysiology, the symptoms results from ectopic generation of the action potential. So there is a generation of the action potential. There's ectopic generation of the action potential in the pain sensitive fibers of the fifth cranial nerve. So what is happening in the pathophysiology? The symptoms are occurring from the ectopic generations. So there is ectopic generation of the action potential and in the pain sensitive afferent fibers of the fifth cranial nerve. So there is ectopic generation of the action potential. Ectopic means away from the normal. So there is generation of the action potential in the pain sensitive afferent fibers of the fifth cranial nerve root. There is compression or the other pathology in the nerve that leads to demyelination of the large myelinated fibers. So because of the compression or the other pathology in the nerve, this will lead to the demyelination of the large myelinated fibers that do not themselves carry pain sensation. So these usually do not carry the pain sensations by themselves, but becomes hyperexcitable, and these are electrically coupled with smaller unmyelinated and poorly myelinated pain fibers. So what is happening in this is there is compression or the other pathology of the nerve fibers. This leads to the demyelination of the large myelinated fibers, and these do not themselves carry pain sensation. So the pain sensation is not carried by themselves, but these are coupled with smaller unmyelinated and poorly myelinated nerve fibers. So basically, this is the disease of the myelination or the demyelinated nerve fibers that are carrying the pain sensations. The compression of the trigeminal nerve root. So if there is any compression of the trigeminal nerve root by the blood vessels at the entry of the brainstem, it is the source of trigeminal neuralgia. So if there is any compression of the trigeminal nerve root by the blood vessels, so if any blood vessel is compressing the trigeminal nerve root and at the entry of the brainstem, and the source, it is the source of trigeminal neuralgia. There is increased vascular thickness. So there is increased vascular thickness and tortuosity that causes the prevalence of trigeminal neuralgia later in the life. So there is increased vascular thickness and tortuosity that is causing prevalence of trigeminal neuralgia in the later life. Now, how to diagnose a case of trigeminal neuralgia? Whenever a case of trigeminal neuralgia is coming to us, what are the different lab investigations that can be done in such case? In the lab diagnosis, we will find the ESR is raised in the temporal artery, arteritis. So if there is inflammation of the artery, then ESR will be raised. Neuroimaging studies are usually unnecessary. These are not required, and it can be valuable. Neuroimaging studies can be valuable if the mitral stenosis is the consideration or the assessing overload vascular lesion in order to plan for decompression therapy. So if there is any kind of compression, then decompression surgery, for the decompression surgery, neuroimaging can be done. High resolution magnetic resonance angiography is useful preoperatively to visualize the relation between the fifth cranial nerve root and the nearby blood vessel. So in order to identify the blood vessel that is causing the compression in the nerve root, we can go for high resolution magnetic resonance angiography. Now, how to treat the treatment of the trigeminal neuralgia? The treatment is done by the following measures. The drug therapy with carbamazepine may be effective. So in order to treat the trigeminal neuralgia, the drug therapy can be given by means of carbamazepine. In order to treat the dizziness, imbalance, sedation, in order to prevent the pain, if you are giving the carbamazepine, then there are certain side effects of the drugs which you are going to observe that will include the dizziness, imbalance, sedation, and agranulocytosis. So an alternative to carbamazepine is oxcarbazepine. If the drug treatment fails, now if you are not able to relieve the pain through the drugs, then you can go for surgery. So surgical therapy includes microvascular decompression to relieve the pressure on the trigeminal nerve. And also gamma knife radiosurgery of the trigeminal nerve root is also used for treatment. So drug therapy with carbamazepine, alternative to carbamazepine is oxcarbazepine. If the drug therapy is failing, then you can go for surgical therapy. And gamma knife radiosurgery of trigeminal nerve root is also used for the treatment. So this was all about trigeminal neuralgia. I hope you have understood this session properly. Now I have in the e-notes, I have given the review of ancient literature, and I have also discussed a case with you. So it's a homework to go through the case and try to sort out the case by yourself. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss about the differential diagnosis of trigeminal neuralgia and the migraine. And next, we will be doing the Bell's palsy. So in the next lecture, we are going to discuss about another important disease, that is Bell's palsy. So you have to complete your homework that I have given in the portal on the session, and try to figure out certain things from the books. So I hope you have understood the session properly. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jyoti Vidyapith Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with the session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box and I'll try to resolve it. So this was all for today. Thank you very much. Have a good day.